Welcome to the F.E.A.R Chronicles, false evidence appearing real, where we are covering real stories for navigating burnout, bold moves, and becoming your best self. I'm your host, Natasha Agha, private practice strategist, mother of two, and recovering perfectionist. This is the space where we get honest about the pivots, the pressure, and the purpose behind it all. If you're navigating life transitions, career shifts, motherhood, or learning to trust yourself again, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the F.E.A.R Chronicles, which is false evidence appearing real. I believe this is episode 6. So we kind of left off last time where I had my light bulb moment. I was like, this is, my big pivot, what I want to do. This is kind of like how things aligned, where things didn't go according to what I thought the plan was. Um, and ultimately the chaos that led me to where I am now. So I knew that I wanted to help other private practice owners so that they didn't have to suffer the way I did. But then I was left with this humongous question of how? How am I going to do this? I just shut down my business, my practice. So running my first practice in mobile business, how I ran it taught me a lot. It taught me things that I really didn't love. Like, for instance, I had this big Freightliner truck, and I live in Minnesota, and I would have to start it frequently, especially in the winter times as the temperature dropped. That was not ideal. And ultimately, my schedule revolved around other people, facilities, contractors, and other things. It wasn't my desired schedule, and I was on everyone else's time. I wanted more freedom. I wanted the flexibility, especially for my kids. My kids are young. And so I started reassessing everything within this pivot. So what I decided made the most sense for me was to go online. That made the most sense. But pivoting felt overwhelming. I went from being in this space of feeling confident and capable with my clinical and business experience to feeling like a fish out of water. Um, because building an online business meant I was a total beginner, and that was ultimately humbling yet extremely terrifying. So here's what I knew, that I didn't know what I didn't know. So I, in order to collapse time and move things faster, you have to find someone who's already done what you want to do and in a space where you want to be. And that, in order to do that, is, you find a coach, you find a mentor, you find a program even. So, and then also surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So finding a community, there's sayings like your tribe is your vibe, but community is paramount in doing all of these things. So doing all of this is the best investment that you'll ever make. And I know for myself that that was ultimately true, because had I not done those things, I wouldn't have the platform that I use, the program that I've now created, along with many others. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today without investing in myself. So, and it kept me really accountable. So by doing this, I searched, so I didn't know anything. So I did my research. I Googled, I investigated, I ultimately found the perfect coach and the program that fit me. Um, and I was all in. And here's the beautiful part. So if you remember, um, one of the main reasons that I closed my previous practice was because I had my main customer client that had several outstanding invoices. Eventually, with some creative persuasion, I finally received the funds, but several months later. So it couldn't save my mobile practice, but what it did allow was for me to invest in this next chapter. So this time around, there were no loans. And I just had my goal, my dream, and my purpose. So some people might say, Natasha, why would you shut down one business and turn around and start another? And here's my answer. Because I knew that this is what I was meant to do. And there's, this crazy, there's a saying that I fell in love with, and it's crazy is often being right too early. And even if others didn't really understand my choices, I made peace with it because I knew that the people that I was meant to help. And that's how my journey, ultimately my pivot began. So today, that pivot is the reason that I'm here, that I'm sharing my story and helping private practice owners through my signature program, which is the Private Practice Burnout Solution. So I went through the burnout so you don't have to, or not suffer it for as long. And I really, really appreciate anyone who listens, takes anything away from any of the F.E.A.R Chronicle chapters that I've shared so far. And just remembering that, detours might in fact be leading you to exactly where you're meant to go. So there is more. That's the beginning of the pivot. So I will be on again next week. But I would love to hear, if this did resonate with you, to, drop a heart or tell me in the comments, if you ever made a pivot that felt crazy, but turned out to be exactly right. Because I think if you've really sat down and thought about it, you might just realize that everything just fell perfectly into place when you thought it was falling apart.
Thanks for joining me on the F.E.A.R Chronicles. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to like, comment, or share with someone who needs it. Want more support? Check out the links below for free resources, workshops, and how to work with me. Remember, bold moves start with small shifts. You've got this, and I've got you.